Hello, Tosin, and welcome to the Special Needs Summit.
Thank you, Anna. It's good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. I've been really looking forward to this conversation.
Same
And
here.
yeah, and I'm so happy you're here. So, I want to introduce Tosin to all of you. She is the founder of Childhood Uninterrupted, and she is an education specialist and consultant. Currently, she works as an elementary school education specialist. She has over a decade of experience as an education specialist, and over the years, she has instructed hundreds of special needs children from the elementary to the secondary level. As part of the IEP multidisciplinary team, she makes decisions in regard to the academic development, behavior, and emotional well being of hundreds of special needs children with varying disabilities. She has extensive knowledge of special education, best practices, and policies. And Tosin has a master's degree in school leadership from California State University, Dominguez Hills, a master's in special education from National University, and a bachelor's degree in communication studies from California State University, Northridge. She also has California Administrative Services and Education Specialist with mild to moderate disabilities credentials, and she holds an autism spectrum disorder authorization. Whew! So basically,
Oh,
you really know
that
your
is a mouthful.
you really know your stuff.
Thank you.
I love it. And we're really happy to have you here because it's really nice having some teachers too. I've had an interview with Erin Munson, who's my friend that's a school counselor, and so to get some of that perspective and some different strategies. But it's really nice to have somebody that really works with special needs children every day, lots of different special needs children. It's just a really good perspective to have. So welcome, welcome. So one of the things that
Thank
I wanted,
you. I'm really glad to be here.
oh,
Yes.
good, awesome. So we spend a lot of time thinking about accommodations for school and what's going well at school, what's not, how to like what are going to be good accommodations for our children at school. But sometimes at home, we don't always know what accommodations we need to make or to feel confident in. Is this something that we should accommodate for, or is this a realistic expectation for this child, um, regardless of their um, cognitive or their ability level? So I was hoping that you could help us to understand, or maybe have some ways to think about how a parent can navigate what's realistic at home, and where should we make accommodations for our children in different ways.
Interesting. So a lot of times when I have IEP meetings, the parents come to me and they complain, how come, oh, let's use the name David, right? How come David acts perfect at school, but then when he comes home, I really can't handle him. We go over accommodations during the meetings, and I tell them, for me, I also experience the same thing as a parent. My kids are like the perfect model students at school. And then they come home and say all their crazes for me, right? And
Right.
I said, what's going on? And I go to parent conferences. Oh, she's so perfect. He's so perfect. I'm like, oh, really? That's my child you're talking about? So I really let parents understand that the school setting and the home setting, it's very different. Home is where the heart is, and home is where your child is really allowed to be themselves. So no matter what you do, you can never have the kind of structure that you have at school. But you can always tweak some of the accommodations that we recommend during IEP. So for example, one of the accommodations that I tell parents is checking for understanding. A lot of people believe that's only for instructions. No, but you can actually do that while you're at home. So for example, you have your child at home and you're giving directions. I need you to help me with the dishes, right?
Right.
So a lot of parents complain about chores. So state specifically what you would like your child to do, right? And then how about check for understanding by asking your child to paraphrase. So, Susan, what did I ask you to do? A lot of time, maybe they can retell maybe 50% of what you just said. And that is your opportunity to restate and make sure that you are on the same wavelength. Because a lot of times as adults, we just give directions and we just assume that these kids understand. You should understand what I'm telling you. I think I simplified my directions enough for you, but no, it doesn't always work like that. Um, oh, another accommodation that I feel is transferable from school to home, especially during this COVID time, is breaks and extended time for every single assignment. Make sure you're working with your teacher, your child's teacher. I understand this assignment is due on Wednesday. I really would like her to do the best and put her best foot forward. Can we turn this in Friday evening? A lot of teachers, I believe, are very flexible. And that's also one thing you can do at home too. You need your child to clean up their room. Why don't we Okay, go clean up your room for the next 10 minutes. Take a break and pick it up from there for the next 10 minutes. Because you have a lot of kids, they can't really focus. We have a very, very hyperactive population. And we need to offer breaks and offer rewards and really recognize it when they're doing something great. Yeah.
Oh,
And another thing I'll also, in setting these accommodations, nothing is going to work if you do not really factor in your child's age and abilities.
yes.
So you might say, oh, my child is 10 years old, right? He or she should be able to do this. No, maybe your child just can't do it. Your typical 10-year-old might be able to do it, but you have to find a middle ground. Okay, he's not able to do this at all. He's able to do the dishes, but he's not able to offload it from the dishwasher. I would have to do that myself. So, because if you're not factoring that, you're going to get frustrated and your child is going to get frustrated as well. Yeah.
I that is all so good. I really love those accommodations. And something that came to me is breaks. Okay. So we need breaks, as in put on the brakes when we're communicating. Like, think of like the still loading sign over your child's head. Like be right there, share. I love having them repeat back and then you share again. It's like, so put the brakes on your communication to the child to make sure they
Exactly.
understand, and then give them breaks so that they have those time, the rewards, like the mini rewards, or the hey, I get to have some free time. It's really, I love that you brought that up, because that also can be personality too. When I like to just knock out my list. I want to just get it all done and then I have the whole rest of the day. But not everybody works like that. I have one child that needed so many breaks during distance learning. It was really hard for me because I wanted to just be done. And,
Exactly.
and it just didn't work for her. And so I think that's so good. Such a good reminder that different kids do have different needs, and it's like, do you want it done your way and you're going to fight till the end to get it done your way, or are you going to say what's going to work for this child right now to
Exactly.
do something? That's super powerful.
And it's not something that's going to come to you naturally as a parent. Like you said earlier, I've been teaching for over 10 years and I still struggle with it as a parent.
Yep.
Because I have students in my classroom, they're trying to be well behaved because I'm the teacher, but then I come home and you're the parent.
Yeah.
I don't have to do exactly what you need me to do. And I struggle with that, but it's something we have to practice over and over again, because you have so many things you're juggling every day, throughout the day. And the last thing you really have time for is repeating yourself. No, I don't have time to repeat myself. I told you once, you should understand it. But we have to dial it back, take a deep breath, and repeat. Do you
And
understand? Yes.
and managing that expectation, because I know, like, in my day and age, like, in my day and age, when I was little, I feel like it was very normal for parents to really have the attitude of like, if I tell you once, you should do it. Like, I shouldn't have to ask you
To
more
repeat
than once
myself.
to, to do this.
Exactly.
But now I feel like there's more research that's gone into this. There's others, it's just that is not the case. And with special needs children, um, and maybe we have some twice exceptional kids that parents that are watching where your child's really gifted in some ways. And that a lot of times will come with a slow processing speed. And then you've got this, well, he's so smart, he should be able to do this or she should be able to do this. And yet it's like, that's why, like, I literally try to remember the still loading sign, because they may not it just may take them longer than we expect to really understand what we're saying and process it.
Exactly. Like my son is a perfect example. Academically, oh my gosh, I am so extremely proud of him. Like I don't have to push him to get his work done. It goes, I'm done. Like he doesn't need a lot of directions to get schoolwork done. But I give him basic instruction like, oh, can you please help me get my purse from the room? And it comes back. What did you ask me to do again? Get my purse. So you have to, because I just have these expectations. If you're doing so phenomenal at school, why do I have to break these things down for you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's such an important thing to touch on. And there was a study that I heard about. I don't know if Bridges Academy. Are you familiar with Bridges Academy? It's in
No, I'm
California.
not.
There was a study done. I might be misspeaking on where this came from, but it was a study about gifted children and how, like, the more gifted you are, the later you get to the um your executive functioning. So, like, where like an average student gets some of their executive functioning skills, certain things at middle school, like they can manage a backpack with lots of different books and classes and things like that. And they just kind of, but the more gifted or higher IQ your child has, the later they get to that point in their executive functioning, which I thought was so fascinating because, again, we think they should be able to do this and it feels frustrating, but really, like, having that understanding that, like, all bets are off and really taking the child uh individually, I always say, like, we all need an IEP. you know oh,
Like
there you
we
are.
really do, because given all the processes or the assessments to get an IEP, I believe every single adult would qualify for something.
Can I get an amen? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, and
every single adult will qualify for something.
exactly. I know we need to have a lot of grace for ourselves and for our children, and it makes things a little lighter. Oh my gosh, that was really good. And so I was thinking about um sometimes one of the things that can be really hard in a family is family time. I know my kids know how to push buttons, they know how to set each other off. And one thing that we tend to have a really hard time with at our house is game time. And I have this ideal of wanting this great family time, and yet it tends to implode or explode as kids get frustrated. And it's like, then you get into this family dance of like, now she's doing this and now he's doing that and here we go and this is what we do and now the game's over and I'm disappointed. And so I was curious if you have any tips for family time when you have your neurotypical children, maybe your special needs child, and obviously those there can be a big mix there of each family's uniqueness. But what are some tips you have for managing all these different needs at once?
Okay. First of all, I really want to commend you for family time and game night because in this time when everyone is constantly on their phone, we're all in the same house, but we're living separate lives, right? I'm on
Yeah.
my phone, you're on your phone, we're together, but we're not really together. So I think it's really amazing that your family does have uh, game night. I do struggle also with my son is a sore loser. He has to win all the time. So that's something I also struggle with. But that being said, specifically regarding game night, it is really important to set expectations and also factor in your kids' age and their ability. Before you know what, you think about game night, it's all fun, let's just have fun. Why do I need to be so rigid, set expectations? But it's because we want to have fun. That's why we have to set these expectations,
Yeah,
right?
so true.
So being able to maybe involve them. I'm sure you have multiple games that you play every week on game night. Maybe go around, we alternate. I don't know how many kids you have.
Well, I
Uh,
personally have three.
Three. So you can alternate. Maybe one person decides on which game we play this week, and another person decides the next week, and the other person decides the third week. So that also gives them some kind of power and interest in participating in the game. So also going over the rules of the game and making sure everyone does understand the rules of the game. How long the game is going to take is also something you have to factor in when it comes to the age. For the special needs child, they might not be able to sustain their attention for more than maybe 15 minutes or
Mhm.
30 minutes. Are they able to ask for help during the game when they feel they're about to lose?
Yeah.
Um, so if you know this game is going to be an hour, are you able to modify the game in a way that every 10 minutes we take a timeout from the game?
Mhm.
Um, what else are we able to do? And then also before the game, going over the fact that in every game we have winners and we have losers. Nobody wants to hear that they lose. Hi.
I have a visitor.
Hi, my name is Tosin. And what's your name?
My name's Ellie.
Ellie.
Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Nice to meet you. I love your blue blouse. Is that a dress or a blouse?
It's a jumpsuit.
A little
Ooh,
romper. Woo!
fancy.
She's super fancy. Are you gonna go brush your teeth? Awesome.
Okay, good to meet you.
She got to play at the neighbor's house and then she just got home. She's gonna get ready for bed while I do this.
That's nice.
In theory, that's what's gonna happen.
Exactly. So I was going over the expectations, and then also before the game starts, going over the fact that in every game, someone or some people are going to win,
Mm,
and some people are going to be losers, and just teaching some self-awareness strategies when you lose a game. Take a deep
mhm.
breath, accept that you lost, and think about the next time that you're going to play the game. Maybe this is what I should have done differently. And even after losing, you can always sit beside whoever is winning and study the game and see what they're doing correctly. And also, as a parent, you can also take it upon yourself to share a time you actually lost at a game
Mm.
and how how you handled yourself. So all of this can go on during, not during, I take that back, before the game. And also going back to the check-in for understanding, do you understand? Because And another thing you can do is going back to previous games. Highlight something they did perfectly during the game. And then also highlight something you think they could actually improve in.
Mm,
So when you highlight what they did perfectly or did very well in the past game, that's something they have at the back of their mind. Okay, I need to do more of this during this game.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And like saying what you see, ooh, look, you're onto something here. I see a strategy, like making it playful. I love the whole like setting the expectation before you start because
Start the game. Yeah.
typically things implode. It's like you think about a game. It's like everybody has their own agenda. I want quality time and fun. Someone wants to win. Someone's afraid of that someone's going to lose their temper. It's like everybody's got a different angle and in the family unit when you come together. And I love the idea of like really setting the expectation before you start. And I love what you said about like really modifying the game and making it shorter, like choosing shorter games, and of course letting kids take turns choosing, because I think that's a lot of the demise is like it gets too long. And so everybody fizzles out differently and gets stressed out differently. So I love the idea of like, let it be 5 minutes, and let that be a win, or 15, or, depending on your child. I think that's so good. Just thinking about those times and that it doesn't need to, there isn't like a right answer. You just think
Exactly.
about your family and decide ahead of time. I think that is definitely the theme of the summit, is really just getting ahead of things. And that's how you
Exactly.
limit the tantrums.
And then in line with getting ahead of things, I would also add, as a parent, a lot of times, I would say 99% of the time, we know exactly when our child is about to act out. We
Yeah.
usually know, we can see it. If it's the rolling of the eyes, if it's the, if like whatever it is, like once you see that, you can always reach out. Would you like to take a break now? Is there something bothering you? Like, it's okay. Like, we try to be proactive, but then there are times we just we don't have a choice but to handle it during the game. We preferably to be perfect to handle all of this right before the game starts, but things are going to creep up during the game, and just watch out for that. Is there anything you need? Maybe rub his back, rub her back, hold her hands, and just, we're here. It's okay, you're doing a great job.
I
Yeah.
love that. I really do. And we think taking a break is like some sort of failure a lot of times, like we can't even get through a game, but really like that is the best thing. And to
It
really
takes
give kids
time.
permission, take the breaks, like let it be fun, let it be easygoing. And that really takes a lot of pressure off everyone. And that's a win to take a break and come back, not a failure that you needed to take the break, right? So
Exactly.
I love that. And so there was one other thing I wanted to ask you about, and that was really the idea of transitions. And I think what I've noticed just in talking with other friends and different family members, a lot of times I don't think parents are noticing or the correlation between their child's behaviors at home and the idea that they just may have gone through a big transition, like coming home from school or coming back from, if your parents are divorced, coming back from the other parent's house. I know a lot of parents, oh, they must get away with everything at their mom or dad's house because when they come to my house, I have to start all over. But you realize they just had a major transition, right?
Exactly.
So, what are some strategies? First of all, what can we be aware of as a parent thinking about our child's day and transitions? And then what are some things, some tools or strategies we can use to help our child with transitions?
In regards to, I just also want to put it out there. My kids also transitioned from one home to the other. I do have an every other week
Oh,
custody myself. So they're with me 1 week, and the other week they're with their dad. Um, and in the beginning, I was really worried that
yeah.
this must be really stressful. Like as soon as you're getting into a week, you're getting ready to move
Mm,
somewhere else. That must be really overwhelming. So for me, I know there's so many activities and situations in which we have to deal with transition. But I really want to, since you brought up the custody, moving from one parent to the other, what has really worked for me is having traditions that I've built for myself and
mm,
the kids. So, for example, every Friday we have a movie night and a pizza night.
mm.
Sometimes it could be pizza. It's usually pizza, but my kids love Crab Shack. I don't know if you have it over there.
I believe so.
So
Yeah.
once a month or every other month, instead of pizza, we'll have crab legs, right? And they really look forward to it. And it's our routine. It's a tradition that we've really like I've been really rigid about it. We don't break away from it, and they also enjoy it, and we look forward to it. Another thing we do is every Sunday. We've really not done that in a while because of COVID, but every Sunday we would stop by after church. We'll stop by an ice cream shop and have
Mhm.
ice cream. um Having routines just like Monday through Thursday, no phones, no
Okay.
tablets, no TV. They know what to expect. So after school, this is what we do. We do homework and then we play games, whatever we want to do. Anything that doesn't require you being plugged onto some kind of technology. So having routines and also a visual schedule, especially for special needs kids, routines and visual schedules really, I believe it's life saving. It
I
is like
love visual schedules.
putting putting together a visual schedule can be very daunting.
Hmm.
But once you put in you front load the investment of your time, looking for whatever pictures apply, making it as beautiful as you want to, it takes a lot of time. But then after the initial investment of time, it does also save you time and frustration in the long run. For special needs kids, especially autistic children, it is important that they know what's coming next. Or every Monday I do this, every Tuesday this is what happened. Before I go to school, this is what I need to do. When I get back from school, this is exactly what I need to do. But that being said, we also have to plan for the days when the unexpected happens. Like
Right.
nobody, we cannot have the perfect day planned out. Something always happens. And you cannot have zero tantrums or meltdown. That is impossible. If there's someone out there who is able to make it happen, zero tantrums, I want to know your secret. But it's possible. Like the goal is to manage it and have fewer tantrums. So on the days when things happen that the family didn't plan for, you have to walk your child through the events and explain to them why it is happening and why they need to go along. And if there's a tantrum, give it time and revisit it. And also think about it, this change, does it really need to happen? Is it really going to matter a month from now if our family doesn't engage in this change?
Right.
So
I love that. And the visuals, I'm sure I've worked in special ed, obviously you do. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can draw stick figures on a whiteboard. You can I remember I got different visuals on Pinterest and printed them out. It was like a free download and cut them out and put them on.
gotta love Pinterest.
Yes.
The best thing since sliced bread.
I know. I know. And so you can have it like laid out on a board, or you can even have it on a key ring or something. And so that you can have more flexibility if things change, like, oh, now we're gonna go do this. Do you ever use some sort of a transitional item for a child to carry? around, like, that maybe is like a little like comforting something that they can take with them from one thing to the next?
I've never really had to do that.
Okay.
Something that I do in addition to having a routine set in place and also having a visual schedule is now, then. Okay.
Mm,
So now we're working on your homework. Then you're going to play outside. This is something that is ongoing throughout the day because
mhm.
there are times, even with a visual schedule, your child will still go against everything you need them to do. So the now then, I use it for my kids and I use it in the classroom as well. Now we're doing spelling, then we're going to move on to reading comprehension.
Mm,
Just that constant reminding. So as you're wrapping up your spelling activities, you're reminding them, now we're moving on to reading comprehension. I used to use a timer, but for some kids, especially kids with ADHD, it did get very distracting. Yeah,
yeah, I can understand that. But timers
so
can be great depending on your situation or what kind of a timer it is. But yeah, you're right. I could, and again, that's why you have to just that's why there's a lot of strategies because
exactly.
different strategies are going to work. And so I'd love for parents to just feel like it's okay if you try a couple strategies and they don't work. It doesn't mean that your child isn't going to get it or you're not doing a great job. It's just like there's a reason why there's a lot of stuff out there because everybody is different and and this leads me into just kind of reframing to praise and making praise really uh, a big part of our life for ourselves and also our children. And I know it can feel like for our special needs children, especially when it's more behavioral, um,
Yeah.
or ADHD or raging or things like that, it can feel like they're just constantly being corrected. And we feel like we're constantly correcting. And that just feels, then you're just seeing more of it because that's what you're focused on. So, what can we do as parents to add a little bit more praise into our own mindset for ourselves and for our child?
Okay. That is a huge one. And every parent, including myself, we struggle with that. It seems like the default is, why are you not doing this? Why did you do that? Don't do that. No, move away from that. It's constantly correcting and correcting. And as I do tell my parents, every single behavior that you see in your child is displaying that behavior for one intent only, and that is attention. If you think about the media, they always say bad publicity is as good as good publicity,
Oh,
right? Sometimes they say that, and that's it. Because this child, we're constantly correcting them, so they do want attention, and they feel it seems like the only time I'm getting attention, even though it's bad attention, I'm being yelled at or I'm being corrected, I'm still getting the attention that I want from my parents. So
mhm.
we need to train ourselves as parents to switch it. Ignore. It's really hard to ignore. You have to ignore the bad behavior. You have to, except in situations where, okay, it has to do with life, like the child can get hurt. You can't ignore that. But little things like just yelling or whatever it is, it depends on your child. Ignore the bad behavior and just load up on the praises. I really loved how when you came in, you gave your brother a hug. That is amazing. I
Mm,
really loved how today I didn't have to remind you to put away your plates. I really love how you cleaned up your room without me reminding you.
I love that.
because you real research, this is actually backed up by research. The more attention you give to something, the more it occurs. So we want to pay more attention to the positive behavior. So you're also helping the child think, hmm, at the end of the day, what I want from my mom or my dad is attention. And I see every time I clean up my table after dinner, I get praised. I need to do more of that.
Right, right.
And then also, you as a parent, because you're dishing out the praise, it's almost like bribery, sort of, but we have to do what we have to do to make everyone's life easier, right? And when you start doing this, it's not going to feel natural to you. It's not. Like, why do he's supposed to clean up the plates? Why do I have to praise him for cleaning up his plate? That's what he should do, right?
Mm.
But if you want to see more of that, you have to do it. And then your child actually begins to become more responsible, own their behavior, become more accountable. And it also increases your self-esteem and confidence as well. Oh, wow, my parents sees me, they hear me, and they acknowledge everything that I'm doing. Because I've had parents, actually students come to me and they say, it really doesn't matter what I do. Everyone only notices what I'm doing wrong. And
Mm.
they don't even have the desire to want to do anything right.
Yeah, they just kind of give
So
up.
they give up.
Yeah, the other day I went into my 13-year-old son's bedroom and I was saying hi and I love you and I said, "You know what? You're really easy to be around." And he was like, "Huh." Like he was so like moved and he gave me a kiss and a hug and it was so cute, my 13-year-old boy. It was so sweet and I'm like, I've got to really that was me consciously like I need to be giving so much more praise and making my kids feel like they're really easy to be around instead of
Exactly.
you know and and it sometimes can feel like semantics like am I bribing them or am I but at the end of the day it's like we want to raise well-adjusted happy loving
Exactly.
kids and so it can be down to semantics but I really think it's intention. Your intention is like I really love this child and I want to see the best in them even if sometimes it's hard to see and so I think that's the praise is so powerful and
I'm gonna tell you a story. So my son, he loves sports, like whatever sport it is, he is into it. But I would say his favorite is basketball, right? And this happened about 3 years ago. My son, he's 8.
okay.
So this happened about 3 years ago, and he was playing basketball. And I told him, like, I wasn't even trying to be intentional or anything. I just said it. You know, you're going to be the best basketball player ever. And I just went about my day.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, his dad got him a soccer ball, right? And I picked up the soccer ball, and right on the side of the soccer ball, he wrote, my mom said I'm going to be the best basketball player ever.
Oh, that is so cute.
And it really, like, it was kind of like an epiphany to me, because if I had said something bad to him,
Mm,
it was going to be the same way he internalized the
mm.
good thing that I said to him.
Wow.
And that was one of those light bulb moments for me as a parent. You have to really watch almost every single thing you say to these kids, because you don't know which one of them is going to stick. Because
Mhm.
I just said it and just went about my day. Like, I really didn't think about it, but it really got to him and he held on to it.
That's
Yeah.
so powerful. And the whole
Yeah.
thread of the entire summit is all about setting the expectation before things start or setting yourself up for success in the day so that you're better, so that your child's better, so you're not getting to these points where you have these really big outbursts. And when we're feeling like we're ready to burst, when our child is, that's when we're going to say those things that we regret, or or it's harder for us as parents to maintain our own composure, our own regulation. And so that is the benefit of kind of making those, to slowing down how often we get to into those red zones. But then at the same time, it's like the more that we praise and we focus on all that good stuff, that also leads to more of that good stuff. And it's like you float through those tantrums a lot easier when the majority of your day you're in that mode of praising and loving and caring. And it's like it just doesn't feel like this is always the way it is and it's so hard anymore. You move.
Exactly. And even when you find yourself faking it, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to fake it. And after a while, it just becomes natural to you. And as parents, I also want to add, also knowing your limits. I really believe in the power of timeouts for yourself.
Yes.
Like you're right there, and the right thing to do for you is to yell and scream and just say everything you want to say that you're feeling towards your child. It's okay to even say it in front of your child, you know what? I need a timeout. We're going to deal with this in 15 minutes.
Yep.
And you walk away, go to your room, listen to music, step outside, and gather yourself and come back. That for me, I believe does two things. One, the obvious, you're calm, you're able to get your thinking together and address your child in a very calm way. And then, second, you're also teaching your child how to control herself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Because you're showing that and you're modeling that, and they're like, oh,
exactly.
look, it's okay to have the big emotion. You just need a timeout or a time in,
Exactly.
or some, yeah, I think that's so important. And just giving parents permission, like it's okay to have these big emotions, and it's okay to step away and to say, I'll be back. And we'll talk about this when I'm feeling better, so that it stays positive, and that's so awesome. I love that.
Yes.
Oh, I have so enjoyed talking with you. I feel like I could talk to you all day. And but before we go, I would love to hear a little bit more about Childhood Uninterrupted and what you're up to, and let our viewers know how they can get in touch with you.
Yes. So I created Childhood Uninterrupted because over the years, teaching for over 10 years, there seemed to be this tug of war between the school and special needs parents. It
Mm,
seems like the school does believe we're trying our best to meet your needs. But then on the flip side, the parents believe, no, no one is listening to me. I go to these IEP meetings and no one is listening to me. I feel like I'm doing this all by myself. And that is really the premise on which I created Childhood Uninterrupted, that this educator is on your side.
mm,
This educator hears you, sees you, and is willing to listen to you and let you know that we do see things differently sometimes from a different vantage point, but we are on the same team. I want to learn from you and I want to be able to give back what I learned from the other side as an educator. So that was pretty much why I started Childhood Uninterrupted. It doesn't have to be a war. We are on the same team. We're all here for this child to make sure that this child succeed.
mm. That is such a beautiful vision. And I mean, the heart of an educator, it's so powerful, and it's so moving to know that you have the support of your school. And I know I'm super blessed to have the school that my children are at now. They're so amazing, but I know that not everybody has that experience or they don't know how to go about it. And parents are scared. And so I think it can feel like they're alone too sometimes, even if the educators are trying. So I love that you started this, and your we'll have a link to your Instagram page, but it's oh, I where did I write it down? It's
It's
childhood
child
you
you
underscore, right?
underscore on
Yeah.
Instagram. Yes.
Yep.
And my website is www.childhoodyou.com. I'm in the process of revamping my website, so there's not a lot there. So in the coming months, we should be able to take care of that. But for now, Instagram would work.
Yeah, awesome. And they can, and you can even message her in the Instagram
Exactly.
message center too. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the
Thank you
summit.
so much for having me.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate all your wisdom and just loved hearing your perspective. So take care and thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.